Hello everyone, it's Kirsten here for another Thursday Spa Business Break where I'm talking about your spa business, and today in particular I want to share with you how to put together a strategic planning day or days for your business, because this is the time of year, we're in the fall, where most businesses, this is when we are all kind of blocking off time for strategic planning for 2021. And Lord knows we feel like we need to do some regrouping, because what a year it's been. It's been a crazy year for all of us personally. It's been a crazy year for all of us professionally. And for some of you, it may need to be a recovery plan. For some of you, it'll be a recovery/growth plan. So everybody's going to be in a slightly different little situation depending where you are and what the impacts of COVID have been on your business. But today I really want to give you basically an outline for how to have a strategic planning day in your business if you haven't done one before, or maybe you've had a planning day but you kind of feel like a hot mess because you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing. Because when it comes right down to it, we need to be organized with our planning days. Otherwise, it just can be a whole big waste of time. All right, so basically today's topic is 2021 spa business yearly planning, how to prep and take action. All right, so really good timing too, because hey Nicole, we on our team, Delia and I, Delia is my manager. Delia actually has been in the spa industry for many years, and she's now my manager. And so it was so much fun to be able to have a planning day with another person. Most of the time I'm doing them on my own, or last year I did it with my SD bestie, Kristen from Facial Expressions. And we kind of did it parallel. So I worked on my stuff and she worked on her stuff, and we actually stayed at I think it was an Airbnb? No, it wasn't an Airbnb. I can't remember. We stayed in like a little condo, and we had the big dining room table, and we had stuff everywhere. And I was on one end, she was on the other end. And while we were working on our stuff, we often kind of had a little break, came together, asked each other feedback. But this year was really fun because having Delia as my manager, we really got to dig into all sorts of juiciness. So we just did that this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. We blocked off 2 days to do this because we had lots to talk about. We had lots to go over and lots of decisions to make. So how should your planning days look like? I want to run through a list for you so that you can take notes and follow this pattern for yourself. This particular pattern will help you frame up how you should move through a planning day, as well as making sure you have a follow-up day as well. All right, so the first thing, number one, is to make sure that you block off these days in your calendar. It can be a little bit frustrating though, because especially if you're busy or you have a lot of responsibilities with your business and with your personal life, it can feel like, gosh, I'm gonna block off 2 days. No spa work, no clients, no managing my team, 2 full days. It seems like a lot, but the fact of the matter is, and you know this, you very, very rarely get enough time to really dive in, really look at your numbers, talk about what you're seeing, talk about how it could be changed and make a plan to make it better. How often do you get time to kind of go through that whole process? Rare, very, very rare. So do yourself a favor and give yourself this gift of time to be able to think clearly, to be able to just have time and space to think and not be rushed, or not think, oh, I got to get home and make dinner, or I got to get home and relieve the sitter, or I got to get home and pick up kids. Having some space to think. I think if you've read any books about really successful people in business or whatever, they always have a habit of booking time for thinking. Now, this is just taking that concept and putting it into the idea of strategic planning. You need to have time to think and analyze and talk about. That's just not something that's normally done in the spa industry. So let's create some new habits, all right? So block off your days. For me and my business, I needed 2 days. We didn't have 2 full 8-hour days, but there were about 5 good hours solid with a little break in there of just really digging into it. And it really allowed us to have that time and space to analyze properly, to just have a conversation, to talk about ideas. If we had only, like Delia and I have weekly manager meetings, but that's all taken up with kind of stuff that's happening in the day-to-day. So we really did need 2 days to do this. And I actually booked another day in mid-November as a follow-up day, so that it gives me time after we've made lots of notes. It gives me time to organize those notes, to prioritize those ideas and tasks. And then in November, we'll be able to map out actual actions, like the details of those actions that need to happen, okay? So book off a couple days and then a follow-up day about a month later. All right, the next thing that you need all the relevant data. Now, it's really tempting, especially if you like vision planning and, like the creative stuff. It's really exciting. But if you were to just dive into creating goals, like, not just sales goals, but maybe it's, it's a goal to add a new service to get you or your team up to speed on, say, dermaplaning, for example. You need to gather, before you dive into the fun stuff of creating the plan, you absolutely need to look at what happened last year and even compared to the year before with your data. So we're talking about numbers. I know that's not super fun for most of you, but we're talking about sales numbers. We're talking about sales and service metrics, like your productivity, how booked you are, or how booked the spa is, how booked every individual service provider is. If you weren't looking at productivity, how do you know where the leaks are? If you have a team, this is a really big place where if you're not looking at productivity data and you have 1 or maybe 2 team members that their retail sales aren't strong, they're not pre-booking like they should, it's difficult to really nail what the problem is and who the problem is if you are not looking at data. It's really difficult to make sales goals if you're not looking at historical data. How did we do last year? And with COVID, we had a wild card. So we still need to look at our historical data year to date of 2020. We need to look at 2019 if you're in business in 2019. And we want to pull like sales data. We want to pull service data. We want to pull client data. Who are your top clients? Are you actually attracting your ideal client? Or are you still attracting a type of client that you no longer want to serve? You need team data. So those are your spa scorecards, your spreadsheets that you should be tracking. So you should be tracking their metrics, productivity, retail sales ratio, pre-booking, average tickets, all that kind of stuff. And of course, you want to pull your marketing metrics as well, if hopefully you've been tracking those ones. So once you have the data in front of you, that is where you start. You want to analyze what happened, because you can't make plans to course correct if you don't know what happened clearly. And you cannot go by, I think this happened, it seemed like this happened. That's emotional data. And while it can be helpful, it is not helpful when it comes to strategic planning. All right, so once you've got your data, the next step is to be able to, what do I do with this data? Now, I follow what is called the Delta model, and this was a thinking construct from one of my first business coaches, Andrea J. Lee. And the Delta model, she calls it the Delta model for change. The Delta model is a triangle. That's the Greek letter of the alphabet. Delta represents change. And if you've been a client with me before, coaching client with me before, this is going to be familiar teaching, because we use the Delta model for sales as a way to create change in your sales. So the Delta model, so imagine the delta, the triangle. At one corner of the delta is the question, where are we now? The top part of the delta is where do we want to be? And then the bottom part of the delta is how are we going to get there? So I use the Delta model all the time to simplify my problem solving process. And so use the Delta model when you are in your strategic planning. Where are we now? Well, you have to look at your historical data. This is where we are. This is how we got here. And how did we get there? So once you figure out where we are now, then we start talking about, okay, moves into the goal setting. Where do we want to be? So maybe the where we are now is your full service spa. You have manicures and pedicures and waxing and skincare. And maybe where you want to be is actually niched into the skin, more skin therapy. That means when you're looking at all your analytics, your data, based on where you want to be, now you can start making decisions about how you're going to get there. So if you are wanting to move more into niched into skin and you have been full service, when you get to the sales part of your strategic planning, that means you're probably going to start looking at, okay, what do we want to be promoting that is in the niche we want to be in? All right, so if you were promoting, in the summertime, you're promoting manis and pedicures and waxing. This fall, you're promoting facials, and in the winter, you're promoting more massage, that kind of thing. That means, how are we going to get there? It means that some of your marketing is going to need to change so that you are attracting different kinds of people into your business. And when you know you have to change your marketing, then you start breaking it down. What do we need for our website? What do we need to do for social media? What do we need to do for email marketing? Okay. So follow the Delta model for change. Where are we now? Where do we want to be? And how are we going to get there? Keep it simple. So the where are we now is the analysis. The where do you want to be is the goal. And the how we get there, that's the actual strategic plan. That's the action steps coming forward. Okay, once you have gone through your strategic planning days, and I'm not going to talk about that today because that is a really big topic. And I actually have an upcoming article going to be coming out in a trade publication, and I will let you know when that is and who it's for. That's going to break down in more detail the actual pieces and the topics that you want to be prioritizing in your strategic planning. All right, so once you've had your day and once you've got all your notes about all the things that you want to be doing, changing, augmenting, taking away, revamping, that's when you are going to have you're going to be making sure that you book that follow-up day, because you're going to use that follow-up day as your action step day. That's when you have your goals, but then you're going to match them up. Okay, what are the actual steps that need to happen to make that marketing goal? Okay. Once you have mapped out all those steps, I highly recommend that you use a project management software. So there's lots of stuff that's out there that's free. You can use Asana, you can use Trello. As a team, we use ClickUp, but if you're new to project management, I would stick with Asana or Trello. Those are really easy ones. And quite frankly, that's a piece of the strategic planning follow-up that most spas struggle with. They can't actually action it out. And a big piece of that is because they're not using tools to help support them to action it out. So do yourself a favor, put all those action steps into a project management software, and then put due dates on them, and then assign the people who are going to be responsible. So whether that is you, whether maybe that is your web person, maybe it's your social media person, maybe it's, if you don't have a team, if you're solo, or maybe it's your spa manager, maybe it's one of your lead estheticians or lead receptionists, okay? If you have a team, that's one of those things what you want to look at in terms of your staffing. You want to review your staffing, those strengths and weaknesses. Is there people in your team that have strengths that that could be further developed to help kind of support the business? Maybe there is somebody who's a crackerjack and kind of personal leadership and kind of leads within the team without even being asked. Maybe that's somebody that you could kind of mine some support with. You just never know what kind of nuggets and gold are kind of in your business without even really realizing them. So I totally understand that carving out 2 or 3 days for strategic planning can be a challenge, but we're also kind of in a time of year where some spas are naturally going through a little bit of a quiet time. So that is where we can also use our business at certain times when we know we're a little bit quieter, leverage that time and use it for strategic planning. But if you find that you are one of those spas, like you guys are super busy, awesome. That's awesome. That's really great. But I caution you against saying that you don't have time for this, because it absolutely will kneecap you for 2021. Because if you're not doing analysis, if you're not strategically planning, you're just kind of bobbing along, bumping along in your business and very close up, like really in the weeds, rather than having kind of big picture, being able to see everything clearly. You end up just kind of bumbling along and repeating the same mistakes that you're making because there hasn't been an analysis and there hasn't been a strategic plan to change it. And I see this all the time in the spa industry. And it's just a little bit of short-sightedness. And it also could probably also be, just not realizing how critical it is for your business to actually grow, rather than having, those moments of like, oh my God, we need clients, we need more revenues. And, kind of doing this frenetic chase after more revenues. This is planned, structured, organized. And because it has been planned out, it's been well thought out. So it's not like, oh my gosh, we need more money. Let's throw money at Facebook ads. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Or, oh my God, we need more clients in here. Maybe we should add, lash extensions, but we're a skin therapy clinic, but maybe we just need to bring in that kind of business. No. Don't make decisions on the fly like that. That just creates more problems that end up snowballing. Do yourself a favor, book your strategic planning, and then follow through with it so that you're not kind of running, feeling like, you're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. Nicole, you need to get organized again for sure. Well, you've also had a little one, and it's been a busy time for you as well. So, but I think sometimes it's just a matter of, right, I need to do this again. And so that's what I'm here for, is just to remind you it's time to get going on your strategic planning. Keep that commitment of getting yourself organized and committing to this and then following through with it. I assure you it will make 2021 so much easier. Even if we have other wrenches thrown in, you do have a plan, right? No problem. My pleasure. All right. If you have any questions about strategic planning, or if you want to do strategic planning and you're like, I don't know how to do this, and it would be really nice if Kirsten just walked me through this. Absolutely. We can absolutely book a day together, or 2 days together if you want. And literally I can walk you through what you need. I can walk you through what what I see your business potential as, and then help you create action steps to make it happen. So if that's something that interests you, send me a DM and we can chat about what that would look like for you. All right, that's it for me for today's Thursday Spa Business Break. And I will see you in a couple of weeks, because I'm just doing them every few weeks still trying to manage my own personal life as well. Many of you know that we've had quite a fall, late summer fall. And I'm still I'm being a little bit more gentle with myself in terms of work and expectations, but still being there for you guys. I want to work. It still feels good to me. I've just slowed down my content just a little bit right now while I recover myself. Okay, love to you all. Nicole, I'd happily do a one-on-one session with you. You and I know each other well. I know your business, and we can probably just hit the jets running with whatever list of questions you got. We can just power them out for you. Okay, everyone, take care of yourselves. Much love to you, and we'll see you in a few weeks for another Thursday Spa Business Break. See you then.